Well, for the last couple of weeks, we've been historically bereft of any interesting stories, but I'm very pleased to say from historyouthere.com, we have, of course, our very own historian, Harold Peacock, who has returned to the fold. Good morning, Harold.
Yes, good morning, Damo. I'm bringing interest back to your morning.
Yeah, exactly. Now, mate, you've been in the Northern Territory. What were you doing there?
Yeah, I was in the Tiwi Islands and East Arnhem Land raising money for the charity Drug Arm. And, of course, Drug Arm provides services right across the Darling Downs and Granite Belt. So the stories I uncovered there are directly related to what I'm going to tell you.
Oh, okay. Now, were they raising plenty of money for Drug Arm?
Yes, that's right. I'm raising awareness and money for the charity because it works to reduce the harms of alcohol and other drugs. And donations through my track are open until the end of September, so there's still plenty of time yet.
All right, so how can people donate to Drug Arm?
Yeah, you can go online, or you can go to History Out There. Keep it simple. Go to History Out There and look for the icon, the Arnhem Land Hike for Health, and that goes directly 100% to Drug Arm.
All right, jump onto historyouthere.com and look for the link there, and you'll be able to make a donation. Drug Arm do some fantastic work in our community, and of course, while you've been out and about all over the countryside, you've discovered some more interesting news about the botanist Allan Cunningham.
Yes, look, he's famous for the exploration of the Darling Downs in the 1820s, but you see, the last couple of weeks, when I was in the Northern Territory, he also had a little-known adventure up there as well. Now, I came across reports of Allan Cunningham being on an expedition in Arnhem Land more than 200 years ago, and I wondered why. I'd never heard of it, certainly not much of it, and I think I've worked out why. Now, just to give people a refresh, Cunningham was a botanist and explorer. 1824, he accompanied John Oxley on an expedition to Moreton Bay, exploring the upper reaches of the Brisbane River. That was one famous expedition.
Right.
But Cunningham's most famous expedition was in 1827, beginning down in the Hunter Valley and crossing to the west of the Great Dividing Range before travelling north. Now, Cunningham named geographical landmarks well known to us all today, including the McIntyre River, the Condamine River, and the Darling Downs. In fact, he wrote about the lush grassland plains of Darling Downs, and boy, was he right. And, of course, Cunningham famously found a pass, now known as Cunningham's Gap. But before these more famous expeditions, Cunningham joined a group to explore the northern coast across Western Australia, Northern Territory and Queensland, which had not previously been charted by Matthew Flinders. Now, this expedition began in 1817, in which Cunningham accompanied Philip Parker King, who was the son of the New South Wales Governor King, and the surveyor, Lieutenant John Septimus Roe. Now, for this trip, Cunningham was aboard the noted ship, the HMS Mermaid. Now, it was the same Mermaid that later in 1823 carried the explorer Oxley to Moreton Bay, where he was later joined by Cunningham. The same ship in 1825 brought another well-known Edmund Lockyer to Moreton Bay, who then, of course, explored the Lockyer Valley.
Yes.
So, meanwhile, back to Cunningham's companion across Northern Australia, the Lieutenant John Septimus Roe. I love his name. Now, he became famous in his own right. Roe had already served in the Napoleonic Wars and the First Anglo-Burmese War. And then, along with Cunningham, Roe spent a substantial period exploring and surveying the coastal islands of Arnhem Land before surveying Bathurst Island in the Tiwi Islands. And that's where I came across this forgotten Cunningham expedition. Now, I just came back from there, and I can tell you the historic influence of both Cunningham and Roe continues, particularly in regards to a long-forgotten northern colony. You see, in 1824, while Cunningham was back down here with Oxley, Roe helped to establish a colony at Melville Island in the Tiwi Islands. It was called Fort Dundas, and it was intended to rival Singapore as a trading post. But it was a fearsome place because although the first Commandant James Bremer feared attack by Malay pirates, it was the formidable Melville Islanders who had the pirates and everyone else scared stiff.
Right.
And then the second commandant was Captain Morris Barlow. And interestingly, in 1824, he imported 3 buffaloes from Timor. He therefore earned for himself the distinction of founding the buffalo industry in Australia, because, of course, the population of buffaloes have run riot. And I recently joined some buffalo hunters in Arnhem Land for a little experience in that industry myself. Anyway, for various reasons, the Fort Dundas colony failed, and it was abandoned after just 5 years. Now, because of that failure, that's probably why we were never taught about the northern colony in the school. And that is probably why Cunningham's expedition north, before his famous Darling Downs exploits, is pretty much not mentioned today.
Wow. There you go, mate. Another great story and a ripping yarn. And imagine it came all the way from the Northern Territory, that one?
Yeah, that's right. And it's a lot warmer up there, sort of low 20s to high 20s. It was beautiful. But, hey, you've got to love the weather here as well. It's nice and crisp.
You certainly do, mate. And there's nothing better than the good old Darling Downs and Lockyer Valley, that's for sure.
That's right. And, of course, Allan Cunningham back in the day, 200 years ago, was front row centre in all of those. He was an amazing explorer.
Yeah.
Covered a lot of territory, which we really only hear about basically Cunningham's Gap and the Darling Downs. But
that's right.
There's so much more.
Well, exactly, mate, and thank goodness for those explorers who really set up the future that we're enjoying today. Thank you to Allan Cunningham and all of the explorers before. Mate, now you'll be posting this story up on your website?
Absolutely. It goes on the website on Fridays. I put it up there. It's historyouthere.com. That story will be there along with 60 or 70 other Darling Downs stories. But also you can donate to my Arnhem Land Hike for Health, that charity raising money for drug harm. You can do that there as well.
Exactly. Historyouthere.com, mate. It's great to have you back on the program. And we'll look forward to catching up with you again next week.
I'm looking forward to it.
There we go. Historyouthere.com is where you'll find it, and also those great stories from Harold Peacock, and he'll join us again around about this time again next week.